Welcome to the Passport Podcast. You're joined by myself, James Salt, and my co-host, Mr. Lars Isaac. Welcome. And today we're going out to Germany with our German ambassador. There he is, Felix. Felix, how are you?
I'm fine, thanks. Thanks for having me. How are you
Thanks
guys?
for coming on.
It's all gravy.
We're all good. We're healthy-ish, as healthy as we were before.
So, to give a brief introduction into what this is for anyone who doesn't know, the Passport Podcast is based on giving you a bit of a travel pass to the places we can't get to right now. Really, we're fortunate enough that we've met people over the years, like Mr. Felix here, where they live across the world, and as it stands, we can't get there. So what our idea is to try and get people on and talk to us about where they're from, what it's like to be there, what it's like growing up there, and just in terms of like these little defines, I guess, because it's easy enough to go on a search board, go on a forum, go on a Facebook status or something like that and search where you would like to go. But hearing it from a local from every place, there's nothing like it really, from what I've found at least.
Yep.
There's nothing like hearing from somebody who lives there and has spent their life there. So from our point of view, it is learning about these places ourselves. We definitely don't know about many of the places we've got lined up, and that's the point really. We're on a journey just as much as you are. So
Exactly.
our first guest of honour resides from hopefully I'm not going to butcher this now, but Munster.
You got the little umlaut on the ear.
Am I right in saying that's west central Germany?
Yeah. I think some people would consider us north, others west, and I think we are west, north, northwest, some kind of that.
Yeah, so we cleared that up. Northwesty, somewhere around there.
Yeah, exactly. near Netherlands, actually, near the Netherlands.
Okay, nice.
Well, first things first then, mate. I think in terms of everyone who'll be listening on our side, on the UK side of things, it'd be nice to hear how positive things are going at the moment, I guess. Like, what's the progression like as it stands over there?
I think most parts of Germany are kind of back to normal life, pretty much. Obviously, Germany was hit quite hard in the beginning, not as hard as Italy maybe, but at least as hard as Spain and Portugal and so on. But we had a lockdown very, very quickly, and the lockdown obviously affected all of us just as it did you guys and other guys around the world. People couldn't work, and if they worked from home with their children playing around and so on. So it was very stressful. People lost their jobs as well, and it was something we have never seen before. And Merkel had a live TV speech in which he said Corona is the biggest challenge Germany has faced since the Second World War and maybe the Cold War.
Yeah, I think she's joining a lot of people. I think we can all agree on that.
Yeah. And so I think the minute she said these things, people took it very seriously, and people were very much in line with all the restrictions. Even the parties that are usually very they're not in line with anything the government says usually, but in this case they kind of all agreed. And now that we realize we don't have a lot of deaths, the hospitals are empty pretty much. We actually took patients in from Italy and the Netherlands and so on. Now people are getting impatient, and there have been some restrictions are now gone, and we can do sports again. The Bundesliga started, as you guys probably
we have been loving that for the time being. I think James originally decided he wanted to support Dortmund. As a Man United supporter supporting a team that sings "You'll Never Walk Alone,"
I tried to ignor that, really, but then they kept tweeting "You'll never walk alone." So I was buying them last night. So
it turned out quite nice.
Exactly. Personally, I went to Leipzig just because they've been able to do a lot with no money at all.
They've come up through the ranks well.
See how many people get triggered by that. But it is nice to see it back.
Yeah, I think this whole Bundesliga, and also, I can play tennis at the moment, and people can work again. So it's.
But you've got you're at a point now where you're not. I suppose you're not scared of social interactions or anything like that. You are at a point where you can interact with each other again safely. You can play sports. You can be at you can go down the high street now where you work, and that's completely fine now.
Actually, the city center in Munster is very, very busy. It is as if nothing had happened pretty much at the moment. And I think people are very relieved. They are very thankful. But now the debates start, should we have had the lockdown? Is it all?
It's nonsensical, isn't it? It's what he's done is done. Just kind of take it as it is now and enjoy what you've got.
We are. I think we are. We all are enjoying what we've got now, and I think people are a bit more thankful for their daily life at the moment.
You would.
We take it for granted.
You really would.
Especially in Germany, people like to complain a lot, and I think people almost are only happy if they can complain about something.
Well, that's probably a good turning point, because
humans in general.
Yeah, this was something I actually wanted to ask about. So, for anyone who doesn't know, Felix spent 2 years in England studying, and that's how we met. We lived together at university. So, one thing I was curious about is how different would the general person be, or the types of people. So you've been to university in Germany and in the UK. You've also lived in a city in the UK and lived in a city in Germany. So would you say there is a contrast there between the people, or to me that sounded very similar, to be honest.
There's a contrast. First of all, because university in Germany is free of charge, and the whole
nice one.
It is different. Obviously, the quality of the lecture, the infrastructure of universities in England is way more expensive and everything than it is in Germany. So if you sit in a lecture in England, it was probably standard that your lecture was recorded or whatever, and that simply didn't happen in Germany before Corona now.
So there's more of a production value to everything that they're doing, in a sense.
Definitely, and I think the universities in England are very, very well known in Germany as well. Whereas I think the German universities aren't really well known in England.
I wouldn't say so.
No.
I can't think of one.
If you talk about Oxford or LSE or Cambridge and so on, people are aware that those
and Lancaster as well.
Lancaster, I think actually Lancaster
in the same bracket.
It is growing. The Lancaster's awareness is growing. Partly because of me, obviously.
Obviously.
Spread it around Germany.
I think that makes it very obvious that we all studied at Lancaster University now, doesn't it? Yeah.
If you didn't,
it's I don't know. It's climbing in the rankings and so on. So Lancaster, some people are aware, and then the university life. First of all, Lancaster obviously is a university where people live on campus, or many people do.
Yeah.
And that doesn't really happen in Germany. That's not a thing.
You have your student accommodation, but it's kind of all integrated into your cities, isn't it?
Exactly. There's accommodation near campus, but it's not comparable to Lancaster, at least.
Would you say there's a difference in the people that go there, though?
Yeah. I'm trying to not to run into any stereotypes here now, but
get yourself in as much trouble as you want.
Every time I talk about England, and especially British people, I use one example that I experienced with Lars.
Okay. So I was hoping you wouldn't pick me there, so I'm glad you were
going to you there.
I think it was Lancaster. I don't even know where it was, but we went.
Keep it relatively clean.
Something, and it was dark, and a car drove up to our to our caveman, to our the way we walked, and it was only for walking people. Definitely not a car drive thing. The street, and then he drove towards us, and he was very, very close. And I thought, my German instinct was to complain, what an idiot, how dangerous is this? And Lars just said, well, that's not dangerous at all, is it? I just started laughing, because that was the exact difference between the British way of life, all with a bit of sense of humor and sarcasm.
Yeah, that's sarcastic humor. I was wondering where if I was going to get in trouble then or something.
Yeah, I was wondering where that was going, to be honest.
No, I am with you. Yeah. So you wouldn't say, would you say then, a more typical German person, if you were comparing the two, is a lot more like front and a lot more to the point?
I think it's
efficient.
I think German people definitely a bit more direct at some point, I think. But you can also, I wouldn't consider myself that way, and I am German, and I wouldn't consider myself complaining a lot and so on. So it's very difficult, also because the universities and the environment of university is so international. The majority of the people I studied with in Germany was actually from Spain and France and England and so on.
It's nice to see that England can rub off on you.
Yeah, that's why that's why it's so sad that you guys aren't in Europe anymore, because at some point we all considered us. Yeah,
means a lot.
At some point we all considered us Europeans. I think we all, especially I think between the French and the Spanish and German people, there was a lot of difference in, let's say, the attitude towards studying. I think Spanish people and also the French, they enjoyed their lives a bit more than the Germans did, and the Germans studied more, and they just took it more seriously at some point, not meaning that any French student is better or worse than any other. But I think the group projects and so on, they showed the cultural differences.
All right, well, we'll take it on a bit of a U-turn then. So, obviously, from the sounds of it, going to university in England is better. So I'm glad we can all agree on that.
That's what I picked up.
No, obviously not.
It's
but
more expensive.
It is a hell of a lot more expensive. Yes. All right, we'll take a bit of a U-turn then, and kind of head back towards Munster. And so I'm guessing you've spent your whole life in Munster, yeah?
Well, the life until I finished school, yes.
So like you have never moved out of it?
Well, I lived
studying.
Now that I've studied and so on, I've lived in I think 6 or 4 or 5 different cities in Germany. But before I started studying, I spent my whole life in Munster, yes.
Okay, yeah, sweet. So, me personally, I mean, I don't think I've met one other person who has known of Munster until I came back and said this is where I'd visited or something like that. And to this day, I still claim it to be one of my... I'm not really a city person, but I would say it's one of my favourite cities in general, just because it's... I mean, I'll say my perspective, by all means, correct me if I'm wrong on this, I felt like it was immaculate. It felt like clean air through the whole city. This is not consistent with every other city you're going to visit. Like you could... I think your dad rides a bike to work, doesn't he? And for me... Everybody does. And for me, that was the epitome of where I was when I visited. So this is obviously the norm for you, but when people say that's a way that you could make a city better because it's already got worse, if I arrived and thought they never made it bad in the first place, did it? Like, everybody just knows that in general I will be better in health, the city will be better in health, it'll be a nicer place to live, a nicer place to be if we can be that to the city.
Yeah. I think obviously not many people in England know Munster, but in Germany, I think almost everybody does. It's, one of the, I think, 20 most biggest cities in Germany. It's got a population of 350,000 330,000, just to give you a general idea.
Nice, some good facts.
Yeah, and
Prepared.
it has always been, for some reason, it is this bicycle city. Almost, it's like Amsterdam, pretty much.
It is, yeah. I got a similar vibe to that, yeah.
It's popular for, well, it's a very green city. There are, I think, 50,000 students living in Munster. Considering there are only 300,000 people living here, it's quite a huge amount.
That's a huge statistic, yeah.
A big chunk.
Yeah, and people are very environmentally aware. It's very important that you care about the environment. Fridays for Future is huge here, and it's very green. You know, also politically speaking, it's green. It's green and conservatives mixed most of the time, because Münster, to be fair, is a very rich city as well. So people are simply have the luxury of caring about the environment more than other cities do.
So yeah.
But yeah, it is for me. Obviously, I love Munster as well, and I think people from Munster are actually famous for being very, very proud of being from Munster.
I would be too if I was from Munster. I would be very proud.
I'm talking too positively.
No, that's the point, isn't it? And I guess what we'd like to know, in a sense, is, so growing up there. Now, for us, growing up, and more me personally, it would be 40 minutes if we wanted to go to the beach. It would be a 5-minute drive and a 20-minute walk if we wanted to get some nice countryside. If we wanted mountains, we'd drive an hour. It felt like, in hindsight, like now I've grown out of it and left where I live, I can see how well connected it was. In terms of Germany, now Germany's obviously huge, so the scale is obviously going to be larger, but growing up with the family, what kind of things would you do for that? Like, from Munster, would you spend weekends away somewhere not far away? Like, where are the kind of places you'd be going from home?
So Münster is 2 hours from Cologne, for example. So let's just cover the basics. You know, if you're rather a city kind of guy, then Cologne is funny. The people in Cologne, I love Cologne. The people in Cologne are incredible, very open-minded, very, very interesting. And the party life in Cologne is amazing as well. It's, I think, besides Berlin, maybe it's the most popular city for partying and so on.
Oh,
nice. Didn't know that. Isn't Hamburg up there as well? Would you say Hamburg's up there? Is that another place?
No, not really.
Not as much.
Well, not. It depends on what kind of party you're looking for.
Okay.
I think we know what we're selling to James here.
If you're looking for the sexual vibe, Hamburg is definitely the place. But
nice.
If you're just looking party with your friends.
1 second, let me just get that down. Yeah.
You've sold it to James now. Okay, so you're 2 hours.
Hamburg is beautiful, absolute. Also an amazing city. But if you're in Münster and you're looking just for a trip for the weekend, I think Amsterdam is very close as well, 2 hours. And the North Sea is around 2.5, 3 hours maybe as well. Depends on traffic. Okay. And there we've got these little islands, and as you already said, the air in Münster isn't polluted as badly as you might think maybe in such a big city. And there are some islands in Germany, for example, Spiekeroog, where you're not allowed to drive a car at all. And so these islands are very, very clean, very nice, beautiful ocean, waves, you can go surfing and everything. And I think that's something that most people aren't really aware of, that Germany does have this ocean side. And then the whole countryside, like Münster's countryside, is very flat. You don't have any mountains whatsoever.
No.
But you know, if you live in Munich, you can go skiing pretty much every day. That's different, certainly. Yeah. We do have the Sauerland, which I don't even know if there's an English expression for that kind of site.
I can personally say I haven't heard of that.
No, I'm not aware of that. I did about a year or two of German. So.
There are some hills there, and actually I went there last weekend, and there are lakes and everything, and that's beautiful. It's very quiet. You know, very, very small villages almost.
Quite
over there.
quaint. Yeah.
Pardon?
I think if I was going to use a term for that, it'd be quaint.
Yeah.
You know that,
Okay.
yeah.
What's that in German?
Yeah.
What's that in German? Quaint.
So we want to be able to pick up a few language skills as well on this.
Okay. Well, then I would first teach you the most important one. Ein Bier, bitte, which is
Yeah.
one
See,
drink.
I know that from Oktoberfest.
One of us spent
so
a long weekend in Munich.
Yeah, there was four of us, so it was the beer bitter was, and then Prost, cheers, isn't it?
Prost, genau. Prost is cheers. I think I taught you that, Lars, as well.
Oh, that's been in the.
I tried to teach you so much.
Oh well, you'll be happy to know that I can't remember what you taught me in terms of the language, but what I can tell you is your favourite way of teaching it was using a table as an example.
Yes.
A table.
So
Okay,
my memory works the
understand.
other way because
You gotta understand.
it's masculine or it's feminine, and Felix was
it's not like
teaching
that
me
in
in
French,
what
isn't
it?
scenarios a table would be a feminine table or a
No.
masculine table. Oh, I'm completely.
Yeah, we
wrong.
don't want to get into that.
Okay, the thing is, there's these the articles, like it's der, die, das. And in English, you've got the table.
Yeah.
In Germany, it's either female, it's masculine, or it's neutral.
Right.
Feminine.
So, go on then. So we've got masculine table, a feminine table, and a neutral table. What's the key difference?
We've only got masculine tables. There are
Only got masculine tables.
Personally, I think that's sexist. And
who made that
I
decision?
can't get my
as
head
well?
around. Who made the decision to only have a masculine table?
I actually think that it kind of is a sexist language, considering that, for example, God is male. But I think he is in your language as well. When
He
you say
is,
that,
I think he is in almost
Bible,
every.
I
I
pretty
think
much,
almost every
That's how
language
he
he
says.
is.
yeah, and exactly. And
He
in
is the
German,
Almighty,
Not
yeah.
only say God, he, who, but only the God. So their God, the masculine God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then when you change the case, when you change the table is standing in the middle of the room, that is the usual, But then when you say the beer stands on the table, then it changes. It can change.
Wowie.
What about if you said her table?
Well, then you would only use the phrase for her, and then the table simply stands without any gender. But it would be still masculine.
Right. Okay.
There you go.
I'll just stick with my beer bitter.
But I think there are other parts of the German language that you should first get into before learning about.
And you
well
wonder
before we
why
can
I
run.
didn't pick that up over a beer in a bar at university. Why that didn't stick. I try.
I think it was trying to
try.
confuse you, to be honest, Lars. I didn't really try to teach you. I was just
No, you were having a lot of fun with that. I agree. Okay, sweet. So back on track. You've got your surfing and your islands. You've got Amsterdam. How many of these kind of places growing up were you going to with the family? Like when you went away together?
We went to the North Sea very often. I think I think some far relatives used to have a house on one of the islands, and so we went there very often. And it's still, I think every summer we go there once at least. At least my grandparents do with my little brother and so on. So we do still have a strong connection to that. We actually always had a strong connection to France, so we didn't even travel through Germany that much. But
would you ever go on?
Sorry?
Would you drive there if you went?
We do, because it's simply, we've got 5 people who can drive, and we drive through the night, and everybody just takes like 2.5 hours, and then you can go to sleep. It's fine.
Yeah.
But at some point we did fly a couple of times, but it's you need a car over there, and we're 6 people in our family. So we
to
need
rent something that big.
It's not even that easy to find like this kind of van thing.
Van.
And also we just my brother and I are surfing, so we like to take our stuff with us, and so
So it wouldn't have been as common to go to another city when you were younger. It would be more
to Berlin, maybe to Munich and to Hamburg, but not necessarily. I think that's not a Munster thing, that's just a general thing. And everybody in Germany will go to Berlin at some point, and also to Munich and to Hamburg, Cologne, maybe. And actually, Munster is, I think, one of the most popular cities to just go to for a week.
It is incredibly nice to go for just a break. I mean, I have to admit, purely your fault, this Felix. I had a hangover most of the time that I was in Munster, but that is somewhere.
But it was still nice.
And it's not. I'm not even from there, and I'm talking the positive vibes about it. I could easily go and just stay for a while. Like,
chill out,
you don't have to worry about planning your way around. You don't have to make sure every day is filled.
Quite chill out.
You can just enjoy your surroundings and go through.
I think we can definitely get the tourist board of Munster on board to sponsor this.
What I forgot to mention is that Munster is especially nice in Christmas time. I think Munster's Christmas markets are very popular, especially among Dutch people. And so when we in December, we can, at least on Saturdays, we can barely use our phones because the whole infrastructure is completely overwhelmed by all the tourists that come to Munster. And the whole shopping scene in Munster is very famous and popular as well. So there are a lot of stores and shops where you can buy nice clothes and jewelry and whatever.
All that good stuff.
Plug in your dad's shop there.
Well, I think in general, there are nice shops, and I think Munster is famous for that. And so you don't have the need to go anywhere else, I think. But Berlin, Munich, Hamburg, and so on.
Yeah, it seems like you've got quite a lot of options within close proximity and can do a lot of different things.
If you're prepared to drive in Germany, although like the train system, like this, although this might seem like quite a basic bit of knowledge, like you could go to many places and they not have a public transport system that's going to do you any favors, so you would rent a car. So for example, if we went to somewhere like Croatia, obviously that's not mainland Europe or something like that, you wouldn't take a train from A to B and it would be in good stead. You'd be fine. But in Germany, you can, if you're in Munster, you're pretty much connected to most places.
Any place,
and you're going to be fine.
Obviously, I think the German train system has a better kind of, people think, at least in England and other countries outside Germany, people think it's very efficient and always punctual and so on. It is not. But,
it's a good reputation to
complaining
have,
coming out.
It's a good reputation to have.
People just think Germans are efficient. Oh yeah, so the trains must be efficient as well. But no.
That's exactly what I thought too.
That's James's thinking. Yeah.
But that's not the case. I think people consider, like, comparing it to other countries, we're well connected, maybe even punctual. I don't know, but it's easy. It's just easy to go anywhere by train. It's not a big effort.
Nice.
Would you say there are any other German stereotypes that aren't as accurate as they are given? I mean, I
think you've covered a lot.
I would before going to England, I would have always disagreed with the stereotype that we are efficient. But then I was in England, and I think Germany was quite.
We're just
way of
completely
turning
inefficient.
that around, yeah.
Yeah, see, that's why I'd say the key difference is, like, we have more erratic fun. Yours more efficient fun. It's like
efficient fun.
That's what I describe it. Yeah.
That sounds so amazing. Efficient.
No, but it is good though. Like, for example,
we just can't go on a spontaneous night out because it isn't.
Exactly. That is kind of what the impression I got. Like when I went to Oktoberfest in Munich, just plug that again. It's like, in comparison to what it would be, like, obviously we have smaller Oktoberfests in the UK, but if it was that scale in the UK, it would be completely manic. Like, there, everyone has to sit down to be served. You get your steins, food given to you, everything.
Yeah, these kind of events are organized very, let's say, efficiently. They're organized very, very well.
Yeah.
But I think that's only because probably the whole event, the event companies.
I don't think it's as much a German thing as it is you're an event organizer. If you went to the same thing in any other country, you would expect to have.
I guess, but I think on that scale, when you've got so many steins coming to you and like everyone's really drunk, I'd expect a lot more trouble like in the UK because everyone's in close concert.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, I can tell you there is a lot of there are a lot of things happen that are troubling at Oktoberfest. But considering the scale, I think it works quite smoothly.
Yeah, exactly.
But I think the whole efficient stereotype comes from the German industry, and I think the companies, especially the car manufacturers and the robotics and so on, they are outstanding in their field, and I think they are very efficient, and that's why they are profitable, and that's why I think the whole German economy as well kind of survived this whole European crisis considerably well.
Yeah.
And that's why people think Germans are efficient. But when we go out, we would never plan a night out. We would just take. Take this. When Lars visited me in Munster, we went to a club. That wasn't a plan. That was just a thing that happened.
Off the cuff. Wow.
It was pretty good one as well. Yeah, it was pretty good. I think this is a perfect time to hear James's stories personally. Like, we're hearing a lot about your experiences over in Germany. What
my
was
stories? No, my stories in Germany.
So for anyone who doesn't know, Jay, last year before?
It was 2018. Yes,
2018.
2 years
so
ago,
October 2018.
October 2018
James visited.
Actually, I was there as well in October 2018.
Were you?
So
that's
in Munich. Strange. Were you studying in Munich then?
No, I was studying in Reutling, and there are two kind of, there's the much more famous or popular, no, not popular, but famous Oktoberfest. And then there's Vasen, which is in Stuttgart. It's almost as big as Oktoberfest, but someone knows.
Is that in spring? Have I?
No.
No.
Well, I think maybe it's spring. It's simultaneous. There are two events that are exactly the same, just with different names.
Yeah, I thought there was like a spring Oktoberfest and then like the main Oktoberfest.
Yeah.
Kind of. Yeah.
Well, I guess then, James, what was your experience of Germany at Oktoberfest in Munich? So this is like for people who live in England, that is kind of
that's one of the main attractions.
That is the if you're going to ask for a top 3 reasons, that is probably of our age, at least.
That is a big one.
That is probably going to be one of the most common answers you get. So, as somebody who has gone and experienced that,
I'll talk about that.
What was that like for you?
Not in complete detail, but
please don't.
It was an interesting trip. It's nothing like I've ever been before, to be honest. We did some loose cultural things. Like, we looked around Munich when we were a little bit hungover after I'd got all the toxins out in the sauna. But in terms of Oktoberfest itself, I think as I say, it's something that I've never actually been. Like, it's a combination of loads of different people. Like, we met a Texan judge. We met some people from some Inter Milan ultras. Like, it's the kind of vibe where everyone's like getting to know each other, and it's just really friendly, really. And there was one incident where I got kind of armbarred out one of the venues, but I think that was a misunderstanding. I think I was just I was walking maybe a little bit wavily back from the toilet, and then next thing I know, there's like a bouncer behind me, and I've never had an armbar like that before. It was
so how much would I expect to spend if I went to Munich for Oktoberfest?
Oh yeah, it was expensive. So I think we're talking about €11 for a stein, and then obviously the people the people I was with, like South, Ned, Charles. Like we got through quite a few steins, to be fair. So it was an expensive trip. So I think.
So how many did you go through one evening, one night?
That's a good question, actually.
I think that's kind of if people will measure your quality in the amount.
So we got there about 3, because that's when everyone changed tables, because no one's aware, like you can't just stand at the bar and drink. You've got to sit down and have a table. So we didn't book any tables, obviously, so we just kind of turned up and had to wing it. But we were quite lucky. But I'd say from 3 till about 12, I might be slightly exaggerating, but we may have hit double digits in terms of the steins. So that was pretty good.
Well, that would be impressive. Yes.
Yeah. So we break up with a nice meal about 5 or 6 p.m. And I have to say some German food is absolutely class. Currywurst in particular, I was a big fan of. And then we had a nice little plate of chicken. But we kind of did. It was about 4 or 5 days, and we pretty much did the same thing. We went to slightly different tents, and another thing as well, going on a roller coaster after having 10 steins makes it so much better. There's a video of me like shouting I'm on top of the world and stuff like that when I'm down this. I thought I was going to die, and then at the same time thought I was having the best time I've ever had. So it was interesting.
What do you think of Munich, the city itself?
As I say, culturally we didn't properly look around, but I think we went to, is it a cathedral, like the main cathedral, main square? Yeah. So we went round there. What else did you
did you go to the English Garden?
No, we didn't.
One of the most popular things, and actually the the nicest thing about living in Munich is that there's a huge park in the very center of Munich. It's called the English Garden, and
we had to get something over there, didn't we?
thousands of people just are there, and actually you've got this nice surf wave there. You asked about that, if that's the case in Munster now, but it is the case in Munich. You can go surfing in the very center of the city. It's nice.
Would it like typically, does most cities, as far as you know, most cities host an Oktoberfest, and obviously like Munich's the I don't know,
the famous.
Yeah, from your point of view, if you were going to go somewhere for Oktoberfest, are you going to look to go somewhere else like Munich, or would you?
I'm going to. Well, for Oktoberfest, I will definitely go to Munich. I think every city has kind of like one kind of Oktoberfest. Munster has one as well, but it's the size is not comparable. And just as you just said, first of all, the Oktoberfest attracts the international people, and I think it's just fun to hang out with people from different cultures. But also all those roller coasters and everything.
I need to see these. I've not seen pictures.
I'll show you the videos after
you'll
this.
have to show me these. I haven't seen that they have roller coasters.
It's quite interesting experience.
Yeah.
See, again, in the UK, if you put a roller coaster outside a nightclub or something like that, it just wouldn't go well. But so in Germany, it works.
I guess it's a festival, isn't it? It's a day festival.
Yeah.
So
it's exactly. It's like a festival. Yeah. And I would definitely recommend going there. But then I would also stress that like Berlin itself is an experience as well. Yeah. If you want to go if you want to party in clubs and everything, I don't know if there's a place better than Berlin. In Berlin you can literally party from Monday to Monday.
Yeah,
we
had a holiday.
We lost two men to Berlin, didn't we?
Yeah. It was interesting. It's very techno, which isn't necessarily my vibe, and it's a bit like underground dungeony, but it was an experience.
I think for the last couple of 2, 3, 4 years, it's been growing, and there will probably be a time where it's, I don't know, hip hop or whatever. But at the moment,
let me know when that is. I'll come back.
I thoroughly enjoyed it personally. There was how many of us were? 5 of us?
Yeah, 5 or 6.
Five of us went over, and I was the only one who liked the type of music that we were finding.
Well,
I liked it after a few stands.
If you're ever in Berlin again, go to Kit Kat.
Did we go there?
Yeah, we did go.
Yeah, we did go there. Yeah. It rings a bell.
What kind of party was it? Because the stereotype Kit Kat party is a sex party, pretty much.
It's like a what?
Where a sex, like you.
Okay.
My brother lives.
Did we go?
My brother lives in Berlin. My brother lives in Berlin, and he has seen multiple people sleeping with each other, having sex on the dance floor, on some corners, and so on. The club is insane. There are no rules. Sometimes you just need to be wearing the craziest outfits to actually get in. And then there are these huge fetish parties, and so it's incredible. It's very famous.
Wow.
And it is kind of an attraction in Berlin. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't remember any of that, lads. Were we
No,
that drunk at the
possibly,
time? I'm sure
See the
they've
parties like
remember
that
that.
in the club, but many are, and people are aware that it's that if they
That's kind of
if they go there, they might walk in on some interesting views.
yeah. Well,
Oh,
yeah, definitely we'll go
Well,
back.
you've managed to promote Berlin pretty heavily. Berlin,
Almost as well as
Munich.
Munster. Yeah.
I'd say then. So I think following that, I think the islands was a perfect example of places people aren't aware of that you can find.
Yeah.
Do you think there's anything else there that you think's just really not given the credit for? So, is it the Black Forest?
Yes,
Black
I was
Forest.
actually
Now
about-
this is somewhere that I personally
Don't know,
I've looked it up before, but is this somewhere that you think this needs more credit, or this is definitely
definitely.
visitable?
It is actually, we wanted to go there last weekend, and then the weather was so nice, so we didn't want to make the whole trip there. But it is, everybody who's been there says it is one of the most beautiful views they've ever had in their life, and it is in the south of Germany, just to place it, near Freiburg. And Freiburg is a city which is very similar to Münster, actually. Very, very nice as well. And if anyone wants to experience nature, forests, and so on in Germany, then the Black Forest is certainly the place to go. As I said, we've got the ocean as well. And then we've got the mountains in the south as well. The Black Forest is already quite mountainery.
Yeah.
But it's not comparable to the Alps.
No, of course not.
And
No.
you can do it skiing and everything. So something that people will probably rather consider doing in Switzerland or Austria, but you can do that.
Yeah, you can get a bit of everything. So what would you say then? And it's obviously very difficult for everyone to say this about their one place, but what would you say your favourite thing about Germany would be?
Couldn't even think of what.
I
That's for England.
And obviously, like if don't limit to
what
one, but
what I like about at the moment, just is I like the German political landscape and system and structure and so on. I feel very.
I wasn't expecting you to pick that one out.
I feel, because it's something at the moment, at least Germany is one of the few countries that isn't ruled by a populist. And I think people can trust Merkel that she will do what she really thinks what's best for the country and not what's best for herself.
yeah,
I don't want to.
I think it's very overlooked how good it is to feel secure and feel looked after.
And how you can trust, and I think we trust in truth.
Yeah.
I trust that she will speak the truth, and especially, for example, in America at the moment, I don't think I could trust anybody who's in any political party, because their main objective is kind of being destructive towards the other political party.
Yeah.
And about the truth anymore, and fake news and so on. And I think comparably speaking, Germany is managing that quite well.
Yeah.
But obviously there are many people who don't care about the truth in Germany as well. And we've got this very right-wing party in Germany, AfD it's called.
Okay.
And they are just as bad as anyone. But I think that's what I'm relieved about at the moment. Also because Corona kind of showed that all those people who believe in the truth and in science, they managed to organize and respond to Corona quite quickly. And other countries governed by populists, they didn't. But my favorite thing about Germany actually is Munster. It's my home, and I love the city. I love the people. I love everything about it. And it's when I lived in England, obviously I wasn't around here very often. And I absolutely loved my life in England. I loved Lancaster, I loved the people. And yet every time I was here, there was kind of like this relief, and it's like a bubble. Every negativity simply is absorbed at some point.
Yeah.
It's a very holy, very nice world.
That's amazing, mate. No, I completely understand. I'm very thankful.
I think I'll have to go.
I'm so happy that I got some time to go over because
anybody is always invited, obviously.
There we go. Everyone that's listening can stay at Felix's.
Yeah, there's enough room. We can all stay in the back garden. We're sound. Sweet. So there's one more then that obviously we're all at the moment. Everybody's looking forward. I mean, over there, you're in a good spot because you get your I suppose essential freedoms in a sense. Like you get to go and visit these places, and you are in a much better spot over there. But obviously, travel right now is still restricted, even in the most normal places around the world. So, what I would ask is, post lockdown or post negative worlds. It sounds bad. Like negative's just a phrase I've got to throw at it, but post all of this, where's the one place you'd like to visit once you can?
Well, first of all, I would definitely stay in Europe. I think the beauty of Europe is overlooked by many people. Many Germans always say, I need to go to Australia, I need to go to South America, and so on. Yeah. I've been there and I love it there, but I also think that many Europeans don't even know about Europe in general.
Yeah, it feels like you're going to have more of a holiday by flying further.
Yeah, which is insane. It's insane.
Look on your front door kind of a mentality, isn't it?
Yeah. I think I would probably go to Portugal. I would go to Portugal and go for a surf, and I would I'm considering doing a master's there. Maybe France, because we have this close connection to France somehow in our family, but definitely towards the sun.
So not Manchester then.
Yeah. Pardon?
Not Manchester then. That's not on your hit list.
I would always invite you guys here. I'm definitely coming back to England. As I've told you before, I'm actually would prefer to do my master's in London. I miss everything about free travel. I haven't been flying anywhere for quite some time. I try to restrict my flying travel. Yeah. But you can go anywhere by car in Europe pretty much.
Once you're in the mainland,
that's the benefit you've got in comparison to us.
Obviously for the British, for you guys it's a bit more difficult.
No. For now we can. For the brief time.
But no, I would go to Portugal or France, and then probably Lisbon or at least near the Atlantic. Yeah.
Nice. I think that's a perfect way to wrap it up.
Yeah. No. Thanks for joining us, Felix. Hope you had some
thanks
fun.
For having me.
Yeah.
Thanks for me. I'm excited to hear about all the other places and their towns and if they're comparable to Munster.
Oh,
exactly.
You wait. I can't wait to.
You've given Munster a good sell.
Wait to trial the loyalty of other cities at this point.
I'm excited.
But thanks very much, Felix. Have a nice evening, and catch you soon.
Yes.
Awesome. Take care. Bye.